last year with the injury. When he got hurt in Week 7, he was leading the NFL, 614 yards.
There's only one thing McFadden hadn't done, Mike, and that's stay healthy. The Raiders haven't had a Pro Bowl back here since 1990. His name was Bo Jackson. This kid, he stays healthy. He's the next one.
Yeah. White 90.
Terrific start for the Raiders. Now Palmer taking a shot downfield, and good coverage coming over by Sensabaugh to take it away. Intercepted by the safety. He comes down the sideline and taken out at the 37-yard line. Gerald Sensabaugh, after the pressure from Kenyon Coleman on Palmer, comes up with the pick. And the new rule in the NFL, while we're in break, they'll look at it in replay like they will every turnover this year to confirm it.
Preseason special is brought to you by Toyota Care. Complimentary on every new Toyota.
Back here in the Bay Area, glorious weather. The Raiders train over in Napa and come back over for their first game. The Cowboys also training in Southern California. Carson Palmer taking one deep shot for that speed that John talked about in the pregame. New head coach Dennis Allen can use, but Palmer was intercepted. Now, this is being reviewed. We'll tell you why in a second. First, the pick.
Well, take a look at Sensabaugh right here playing free safety. Palmer's late, and Sensabaugh reads him like a book. And on first down in that field position, I don't care if it's a preseason game or not, probably should have checked that football down. Good veteran play by Sensabaugh. And you see Orlando Scandrick playing right corner on the coverage. It's the free safety that makes plays laterally on some of these long passes down the field. Should have got off that one.
You see Rob Ryan, the defensive coordinator, talking with Sensabaugh. Now, I said going to break, if you were watching the Olympics, didn't watch week 1 of the preseason, every turnover is now automatically reviewed like scoring plays in the NFL. So the interception looked very clear. However, was Sensabaugh tangled with his feet and the feet of Jacoby Ford while he was down, which would take the spot back where the interception occurred. And that's what they're looking at. And while they're looking at that, we should mention that we again have replacement officials working this game, as happened throughout the league in week 1. Chris Mortensen, Adam Schefter told you on Countdown, these replacement officials who work lower college football for the most part will be scheduled for this week, next week as well. So we'll have them at least through 3 weeks of the preseason. It doesn't look like there's a lot of conversation going on at the level that we're going to get this resolved before the regular season gets going.
No, Sensabaugh's saying, come on, you got to review that.
After further review, the play stands.
It's a quick explanation from Wayne Elliott about the play standing, nothing about what they were looking at. So Dallas has the ball at the 37-yard line. We should mention in replay, by the way, the people upstairs who are showing the official those replays, that's the normal replay crew. Those folks are not being locked out. The guys upstairs are the regulars. So is this guy, Tony Romo, the Cowboy quarterback, taking over from the 37. And no gain for DeMarco Murray running over to the right. John will start talking about this Cowboy offense that Romo now runs for his 6th season as the full-time starter.
Boy, a lot of change, Mike, in this offensive line. And Tyron Smith, their best player, goes from right tackle to left tackle. He'll play a position he's never played before. Keep an eye on that. And DeMarco Murray's back from the ankle injury, 897 yards last year, 5.5 yards a carry. Let's see if he can protect the passer and become an every down back.
Looking.
On second down, Romo throws to the right, and it's caught by Dez Bryant inside the 40-yard line, marked down at the 39. Ron Bartell in on the coverage.
Oh, it's a great blitz pickup. Watch Dez Bryant get a feel for Tony Romo launching this back shoulder throw, and he finds it at its highest point. If they get Dez Bryant in gear 365 days a year, Mike, he'll be a superstar in this league.
24 yards on the catch by the third-year player at Oklahoma State. And right inside with Murray, goes nowhere. John, you said get him on board 365 days. There have been many issues with Bryant off the field, including an arrest a few weeks before camp got started, allegedly attacking his mom during an argument on July 14th. Mom had called 911. No charges were pressed by the mom. They're still looking at the authority level if they're going to pursue the case. Jerry Jones was very upset with Bryant. Took a couple of weeks before he even spoke to him because Jerry wanted to calm down and speak to him, not from a place of anger. Here's what happened. Tony Romo is telling them that the ball is spotted wrong, and he's right. And here's why. The Oakland A's play baseball here, so where the hash marks are, we're not in the place the officials could see. They're college officials. They were going over the college hash, John. Romo said, guys, can I have the ball where I need it, please?
55. 52.
Back in the right place. Play clock reset. Romo. Incomplete with a lot of contact. On the pass intended for Cole Beasley. They hope he can be the third receiver. He can get a long look here tonight. John, this Raider defense just atrocious last year.
I think it starts at middle linebacker. Ronaldo McClain, can he make the plays? And can he make them consistency? And can he become a leader here for the Oakland Raiders? This kid is really under fire. They have two new corners. Shante Spencer comes over from the San Francisco 49ers, and Ron Bartell, coming off a serious neck injury with the Rams, are going to anchor the two corner positions.
This is the fourth string center, David Arkin. A good shotgun snap, but a pre-snap whistle kills the play. Wayne Elliott's trying to find his microphone here.
False start. Offense number 78. 5-yard penalty. Remain started down.
All on Jeremy Parnell. Now the center, David Arkin. John, they've lost multiple centers here. Phil Costa, who looked like he was going to be the starter, has a back injury. Bill Nagy, Kevin Kowalski out. So Arkin has taken about 75% of the snaps in all of training camp. First-year player out of Missouri State. He was their fourth-round pick last year. Not a center by trade. He's a guard by trade. Screen set up and dropped by Felix Jones. Ruled incomplete, and it'll be fourth down.
Well, back to Arkin. He's playing center. I've never seen so many injuries, Mike, this early in training camp. They said this new CBA would hopefully cut back on the injuries, but Dallas has really had a number of injuries, especially at the center position. Arkin never played the position really in college and was inactive all 16, as you said, last year. We got to keep an eye on that center exchange because Dallas really struggled with it last year.
McBriar did not come back after the surgery he had for a cyst below his knee, so full-time punter change for the Cowboys this year. Chris Jones, who kicked in 2 games last year, the favorite to win the job. And it was touched and then knocked out of bounds by a special teams star, Danny McCray, inside the 5. Good job by Jones, winning this full-time job for Dallas. Knows this place, Rob Ryan. He was the Raiders defensive coordinator 04 to 08. Now his second year as the Dallas defensive coordinator.
Yeah, and he runs one of the more complex defenses in pro football. You'll see it all tonight. A 3-4, a 4-3, various sub-defenses, multiple coverages, but he really wants to evaluate his personnel tonight.
Carson Palmer stays at quarterback. Lanye Miller has replaced Darren McFadden as the deep back. This is Miller, first-year player out of Fresno State. Gains only a couple of yards. Their number 2 and 3 backs are injured.
I go back to the lockout last year. Everybody thought it would affect offenses and quarterback play. Maybe it did, but no one really understands how much it affects defenses, especially defenses that are sophisticated and complex. We talked about it last week with Green Bay. Teams haven't had a chance to gel and communicate and function. They missed a lot of work. I expect Dallas to be much better this year.
On 2nd and 7, they run Miller again to the left, a couple of yards shy of the first down. And John, the player who made the tackle with a marker down, is Sean Lee. And that's one of the guys who they are really looking forward to being a great leader on this Dallas defense.
Yeah, Rob Bryant compared him to Ted Bruschi last night, the former Patriots great. That's saying something.
Yes.
Holding. Offense number 68. Somebody's half the distance. Replay second down.
But when you lose Brady James and you lose Keith Brookings, you need a linebacker to stand in front of your defense in these huddles, in these meeting rooms, and make the checks, make the calls. Sean Lee doesn't just communicate the defense. He goes out and makes the plays. Leading tackler last year with 102. He's had 6 interceptions in his first 2 years. That's quite a feat for a young linebacker.
And then Dan Connor, who came over in free agency from Carolina, is starting next to him inside. After the holding penalty, Palmer from out of his own end zone. Pass is caught shy of the 15-yard line. As a tight end position that the Raiders really need to find somebody to contribute. Richard Gordon getting the start tonight, made the catch there.
Well, Richard Gordon was a blocking tight end for the Miami Hurricanes. He's in his second year. Hasn't played a lot in the passing game, but they're trying to use him on these perimeter plays and on these quick hitters over the middle. That time, nice play by the young tight end.
And on 3rd and 4 against the 4-man rush, Palmer will go down. He'll gain about 1.5 yards, but what's new? The pressure from DeMarcus Ware, as good as it gets rushing the passer in the NFL.
Well, it's 2 deep, man under. Excellent coverage down the field. And watch Ware coming off the left side here. Just relentlessly going after the tight end. I just told you could block right there. But excellent coverage down the field. Brandon Carr making his debut here with the Cowboys at left corner. Did a nice job against Hayward Bay.
Shane Leckler, the Pro Bowl punter for the Raiders, out with a knee injury. He should be ready for the opener. This is Marquette King, rookie out of Fort Valley State, who just killed his first punt. It was fair caught by Cole Beasley. But the penalty marker is down, back by the kicker. What a kick by King.
Running into the kicker, defense number 49, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Now, everybody makes a big deal, Mike, about the Raiders leading the NFL in penalties last year. They committed 59 more penalties than their opponent. Watch this.
Jameis Olawale, backup running back for the Cowboys. And you know, these backups are trying to make an impression on special teams as well, and that's the wrong one to make.
Both of these coaches are tired of the penalties. I think it's going to be a big theme throughout this preseason and who makes his football team.
It was a heck of a kick. It takes away the 58-yard punt for King, but it's still on tape, so people will get to see it. Because you're not beating out Shane Leckler here in Oakland, one of the great punters in NFL history. So Palmer back out. Drive continues from the 20. And a 7-yard completion of Dan Connor. Making the tackle on Darius Hayward-Bay.
This is the time of the year you talk about penalties to your football team. And last year against the Giants in critical moments, a lot of these on 3rd down, Dallas shot themselves in the foot with numerous pre-snap penalties. And since it's training camp, Mike, we're going to make a big deal about it up here in this booth. If Dallas and Oakland can cut back on the penalties, that might be the difference in being 9-7 or 10-6 instead of the 8-8 they were.
A pass for Palmer, Jacoby Ford off his hands, and incomplete.
You know, as a wide receiver in this league, it's great to run fast. It's great to run down the field and make big plays, but you have to be able to go inside and catch the football. This time, I think Jacoby Ford might have heard some elevator music from Barry Church right there, number 42. You got to be fearless going inside and snatch that football. That was a well-thrown pass.
That would be church music then.
Church music. I like that, Mike.
The new starting strong safety for Dallas. 3rd and 3 for Palmer. And another one off the hands of Ford. Back to back. And they're letting Jacoby know about it.
That's C.J. Wilson, number 27, and Rob Ryan is playing man-to-man underneath with 2 deep over the top. And those are 2 plays that Jacoby Ford must make. You're going to run inside breaking routes with the big boys. You got to go in there and snatch the football, protect the ball, then yourself. Not good start.
Marquette King to punt once again. Kevin Ogletree back deep. All the way back to Beasley. Kick was 55. And Beasley taken out of bounds. Cole Beasley with another penalty flag thrown on the far side, probably for a hold.
There's 2 penalties here, Mike.
55 yards on that punt by number 2, Marquette
King looks great. He's a punter.
Offside.
Penalty enforcement was one of the things that the officials at the league level were concerned about with the replacement officials. That some of the enforcements are different in college football compared to the NFL. So you can see time to get it right. Or so they
2
hope.
fouls. Offside on the defense number 20. That penalty is accepted. Holding the return team number 85. That penalty is declined. 5-yard penalty, first down, Oakland.
Wow.
Well, Carson Palmer's getting his work in here in this opening drive, and will come back out as it continues for the second time on a punt. Joe DeCamillis sees his special teams with a mistake that gives the Raiders the ball back.
Oh, inexcusable, really. And Joe DeCamillis, he's done it a long time. I had some real battles with Joe when he was in Atlanta. He is not a happy camper right now.
Well, the applause you heard was Carson Palmer coming back out and Matt Leinart coming in. Palmer came out, was going towards the huddle, and they got called back as now his backup Matt Leinart makes his Raider debut. And he gives to Lanye Miller running to his right. And Miller gets to the 37-yard line. So Matt Leinart, who like Palmer was at USC, they were there together. Leinart a few years behind. Both won the Heisman Trophy for the Trojans. And Leinart comes after being in Houston as the backup the last couple of years.
Strange set of circumstances. Palmer helped teach Leinart the offense at USC, and now Leinart is helping Palmer learn the offense here in Oakland. He'll be a valuable resource to Palmer as he learns this offense from Greg Knapp.
We'll see a lot of Miller tonight, and Lanye takes it to the 44-yard line. Tywan Jones and Mike Goodson are going to be the backup running backs in this offense for Greg Knapp, who you mentioned. John, Greg returns to Oakland. He was once the coordinator here.
Yeah, you just saw a zone running play to the outside. That's what Greg Knapp loves the most. He loves to run the zone scheme that he learned from Alex Gibbs when he went to the Atlanta Falcons. He's had great success, and look for some dangerous play-action passes off of that play you just saw.
Miller again, contact in the backfield by Marcus Spears. Back-to-back tackles for the now 8th-year man out of LSU. So you mentioned Knapp as the offensive coordinator, and Leinart was there in Houston, and he's helping to give Palmer an idea how this system works. Will it still include some of the Raider vertical game that we've come to know over the last half-century?
It'll have some Raider vertical game, whether you like it or not. You just have too much speed here. And that's one of the things they do extremely well in Houston is throw the ball down the field to Andre Johnson.
Leinart, trouble with the snap. Spears got an arm on it, but couldn't get it back from the quarterback. So they'll stay with the Raiders.
Well, let's take a look at the exchange here. You see number 67 in the game, Alex Parsons, who's replacing Stefan Wisniewski. It happens a lot when you change centers at any point during a game. It's not excusable, but Parsons is a guy they like. First-year man out of USC. Wisniewski's been injured a lot, has had some rehab done, and Parsons has taken a lot of snaps, but you got to get the ball to the quarterback.
Yeah, Wisniewski had a shoulder procedure done in the offseason, missed all the OTAs. 3rd and 11, Leinart's throw is complete. Caught by Jerron Kreiner, and a good hit in the open field by Barry Church at that safety spot. A defensive stop for Dallas on 3rd down.
You know, Barry Church has been the talk of the Cowboy camp. That strong safety position has been a turnstile position for the last 4 years. But watch Leinart check the ball down, and watch this Cowboy flash. Man, I love guys that can break on the football, wrap tackle, and not give up any yardage after the catch. That's nice stuff.
And the exciting player from Cowboy camp, Cole Beasley, with Ogletree about 10 yards ahead of him. Again, back deep as Marquette King punts it away for the third time this drive. Takes a bounce. Don't get too cute. Oh, very close to the goal line as Chinde Chekwa, the backup corner, and it's ruled a touchback.
Third time's a charm for Marquette.
But ruled a touchback as the officials along the goal line said it touched the line. Chekwa let it go too long. Monday night, we will wrap up week 2 of the preseason as Michael Vick and the Eagles visit Tom Brady and the Patriots. Monday night countdown, 7 Eastern. The Eagles and the Pats at 8 Eastern. We'll check on Vick's thumb, which was injured in the Eagles preseason opener against the Steelers. It's a nice sight for any defensive coordinator. You can come talk to one of the best sackmen in the league, DeMarcus Ware. Again, the play ruled a touchback, and it came very close to the goal line. Romo taking over from his 20, in trouble, gets away, finds Witten, and Rolando McClain comes up with a big hit on Jason Witten.
Well, Lamar Houston had Romo dead in the water. It's a bootleg, and Romo once again shows his improvisation. Watch Tony come out naked to his right, and you're going to see Lamar Houston, number 99, in perfect position for the sack. But Romo just has a knack for making plays. There's another one.
And Witten came right to the sideline. You can see he was exposed when he took that shot in the rib area from McClain. Second and 12, right up the middle comes Tommy Kelly, who takes down Romo back at the 5.
Boy, with all these injuries on this offensive line, I know Jason Garrett's concerned about keeping Romo in there with a guy like Tommy Kelly rushing the passer. One of the premier pass rushers at the defensive tackle position in pro football. McKenzie just jets that A-gap between the center and the guard. I know it's a screen pass, but Arkin, the center, has to put a little wood on Tommy Kelly or it's over.
Third and a quarter of the field. And you're going to run it and get him out of here. Felix Jones. Only a couple of yards. Mike Huff up from the safety position.
You know, number 52, Philip Wheeler, came in here from the Indianapolis Colts to play linebacker. And he really stepped up and took on that pulling guard. This is a run and hit linebacker. I think Oakland has gotten better at the linebacker position. You're going to meet Miles Burris, their rookie fourth rounder from San Diego State, in a bit. But Wheeler's a guy they're counting on here in Oakland.
Chris Jones kicking away for Dallas. Lefty boots it to Jacoby Ford. Big kick, 56 yards. Ford muffs it, then steps out of bounds. It's only a gain of a yard. Let's see a quarterback get beat up. Tony Romo taking a couple of shots, including that one from the veteran Tommy Kelly. Problems for this Dallas offense last year. Sacks of Tony Romo 36 times. Left tackle a big issue.
You don't survive these kind of hits. And Doug Free at left tackle struggled all year. And you're going to see a lot of great rushers in the NFC if you're a left tackle. And Free struggled repeatedly. I think he gave up 9.5 sacks, had 10 penalties, and Romo got beat up bad. Punctured his lung early in the season. We don't need Tony Romo hit ever if we're Dallas Cowboy fans, and so far this is not a good start.
So the big flip this year, Doug Free moved to right tackle, and Tyron Smith, the first-round pick from a year ago, moved to left tackle. And so far, the grades there have been high. Leiter takes over for the Raiders. First down throw complete across midfield. And that's a player who's been getting a lot of acclaim at Oakland camp. Rod Streeter rookie wide receiver out of Temple, undrafted.
Nice first down call. Play action pass. They eliminate the linebackers, and Streeter has a vertical read. Safety's deep in the hole. You saw him throw the shoulders over his feet. Burst and turn. Ball's thrown on time. Streeter was a high jumper, Mike. He's got a lot of skill. He's really turned heads here in Napa, California, where the Raiders have training camp.
Which, by the way, is as good a training camp setup as anybody has.
It's pretty nice, isn't it?
Palmer. Further liner. Throws it complete to Owen Schmidt, former West Virginia player who's been with Seattle and Philadelphia a couple of years each stop along the way for the big fullback. And another flag down.
Illegal block. Offense number 82. 10-yard penalty. Replay first down.
That's Richard Gordon, the tight end. John, we talked about Streeter, the wide receiver who had the catch earlier. Denarius Moore is out here at the start of this preseason for the Raiders. They have Darius Hayward-Bay. We saw the drops by Jacoby Ford. This is a very young wide receiving core for Oakland. Hayward-Bay at 25 is their oldest wide receiver.
They don't have a receiver on this team that's caught over 100 passes. Very inexperienced group. And I think it's rejuvenated Carson Palmer. He loves helping these young receivers, and they just got to clean up these penalties.
It was a great shot right there. Palmer with a conversation with Jacoby Ford had those drops in the first quarter. No score after one here in Oakland. It's that time of year, not just the start of the season, but time for you to start scheduling your fantasy football league and when the draft is going to be. Thursday night, SportsCenter Fantasy Draft Special will get you up to speed. 7 p.m. right here on ESPN. Remember, fantasy football is free to play, easy to join on ESPN.com. So just go on to ESPN.com/fantasyfootball. Get yourself ready for your draft, your online auction. Easier for the commissioners this year as well. So check that out if you're getting your fantasy league going. Mike Tirico, John Gruden, Lisa Salters with you here in Oakland. No score in the first quarter. Penalty on first down is why it's 1st and 12 as Lanye Miller takes it to the right for only a yard.
That's number 46, Lanye.
And John, we had mentioned that the Raiders see Darren McFadden hopefully stay healthy as he comes off his injury. Tywan Jones and Mike Goodson had to be brought in because the guy who was a good, reliable number 2 back is no longer here.
Yeah, given McFadden's injury history, it's critical that the Raiders find a backup halfback. And last year, as you say, Bush almost rang up 1,000 yards. So Tywan Jones, Goodson, they've got a lot to prove this month.
Michael Bush now in Chicago. Backing up Forte. The pass by Leiter. Streeter again. And a first down for Rod Streeter. Only caught 19 balls. He became a victim of the Temple offense, which was really run-based. So that didn't help get him a look at the NFL level.
Well, that's a mistake they want to try to eliminate on Dallas's defense. Caleb McSurdy, you're going to see him come in late to line up at the middle linebacker position. Are clearly not organized, and once again, a blown coverage. And those are the kind of things that you're looking for if you're a Dallas Cowboy. Men that can execute the substitutions, line up, not make mistakes.
Leinart, the lefty, wide open and dropped. Third drop of the game by the Raiders. This time, Jerron Kreiner, the 5th-round pick out of Arizona.
That's what we've been talking about. The Raiders are going to run that zone stretch play 3 or 4 times, and then they're going to fake the ball and come out naked on a bootleg, and sometimes defenses get a little active. Kreiner has got to make that play. He's been one of the pleasant surprises of this year's training camp. The rookie out of Arizona. Don't run with the ball before you catch it ever, young receivers.
Kreiner set the Arizona record. The receptions with 209 and yards, almost 2,900. Too late to kill it because the clock was running down and it's a delay of game.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
John, talk to me about Leinart and having him as a backup. I think we all are familiar with his story. Arizona didn't have the success. Kurt Warner comes in, leads that team to the Super Bowl. Warner retires. Leinart doesn't win the job. He's cut at preseason. than in Houston for 2 years.
He's had a lot of bad luck. When he got his chance last year, people forget he went in there for Matt Schaub and got hurt. T.J. Yates took over, and the rest is history.
Right up the middle with Miller to the 34.
The good thing with Leinart is he's been with Greg Knapp, the offensive coordinator of the Raiders. He was with them in Houston, so there's going to be some system familiarity. There'll be some carryover in terms of his development. Leinart's just got to be ready for his next shot, Mike. It might not be this year. It might not be next year. I coached a guy here named Rich Gannon who didn't get his shot with me until he was 34 years old, and things turned out okay. So some of these quarterbacks, they just have to continue to pay their dues and just be ready when opportunity knocks.
Leinart's 29 now. He was the 10th overall pick in that 06 draft. 3rd and 10. The pressure's coming. Leinart hit as he throws. Kyle Wilbur coming in. That's the 4th round pick for the Cowboys out of Wake Forest.
Kyle Wilbur's an interesting football player. Played in the 4-3, played in the 3-4 at Wake Forest. Can do a lot of things. He's got heavy hands. He's going to be quick enough to get the edge and strong enough to run over a back or a tight end. And here is Sebastian Janikowski, Mike, the veteran left footer, for a long-range bomb off the dirt.
Yeah, 52 yards for one of the 3 men in NFL history, sharing the record, 63 yards. Hit it in Denver on the opening Monday night last year. High snap, trouble as the holder, Marquette King, who's the punter, just took it down. Not sure if it was a design play like that or not.
On the run, there is a penalty flag on the play.
And the flag's thrown by the officials. Shane Leckler, the regular punter, is the regular holder for Janikowski.
I see John Kondo out there, though.
Snapper.
Offside. The defense right in. 5-yard penalty. Replay 4th down.
That'll make it a little shorter field goal, but I tell you what, when you watch the Raiders kick a field goal, Mike, I think the long snapper is the most expensive long snapper in history. I think he makes $1.3 million a year.
But he went to the Pro Bowl.
That's all right, but I think he's $1.3 million long snapper. You have a $4 million punter in Leckler that usually holds, and Janikowski makes about $4 million. So that's about a $9.5 million field goal when you come and see the Raiders.
But they give you 3 points most times.
That's right.
Off the infield dirt. 5 yards closer. And Janikowski misses to the right. He's not in midseason. Well, that guy's in midseason for him, but Janikowski's not. Timeout. Temperature in the 80s over here in Oakland as you look back across the bay. You know, as always, cooler across the Bay Bridge over in San Francisco. Still a spectacular summer out this way. No score, a very sloppy game, to be honest, John, compared to the other preseason games we've seen so far.
Yeah, and it's the penalties that continue to plague both of these teams. I know there's a lot of young players that are a little jittery and nervous. That's to be expected. But both coaches want it cleaned up quick.
And Jason Garrett sends his first-team offense back out for the Cowboys. As Tony Romo hands Felix Jones going left. Squirting forward for about a yard. So, John, we mentioned that Doug Free was moved from left tackle to right tackle. How about Tyron Smith? How's he doing this year?
Well, I think Tyron Smith's a natural left tackle. The problem is he's never played the position, not at USC and not last year as a rookie. But not only is he playing a new position, he has a new stance on the left side. He's got a new offensive line coach, and he's going to have to learn how to block some really dangerous pass rushers on that left side. But he's capable, certainly.
2nd and 9, time for Romo, and Witten back in the game, covered and incomplete.
But, you know, when you're a left tackle, Mike, your stance is backwards. It's the opposite stance you use when you're on the other side. Take a look at his left hand down on the left. His right hand is up on the right. The stances are backwards when you go to that left side. Your vision is different. You see things out of your inside eye with your right eye now. Everything is different. The calls are the same. But the stance, the body mechanics, they are different.
Cole Beasley's the move man. We're getting a long look as the third receiver as Romo comes to Witten. yards shy of the first down. So 11 plays and just one first down for this Dallas offense and the starters.
Take a look at Tyron Smith. The wider the defender, the wider your set. You see those long arms, natural recoverability. Is recoverability a word, Mike?
No.
What word would I use there? Ability to recover?
Very good.
Very athletic left tackle. He's going to be a special player. He's a great kid. And Bill Callahan, their new offensive line coach, coordinator, has done a great job with him.
This is Chris Jones' kick. Out of hang time, Jacoby Ford says, get away. And it bounces inside the 15-yard line. So disappointing for Romo and the Dallas first-team offense. 11 plays, 22 yards, and only one first down. It's a Southern California reunion here in Northern California. Carson Palmer. His backup was Matt Leinart a decade or so ago at USC. There they are. Part of that quarterback picture from the year. Palmer winning the Heisman Trophy in 2002 as the resurgence at USC really started to hit some peaks, and Leinart doing it a couple of years later. Al Davis had wanted to draft Matt Leinart, was interested in taking him out of USC, but instead they took Michael Huff in that 2006 draft, and Leinart was available a few picks later for the Cardinals. The 14, Lanye Miller with a carry.
I'll tell you who Al Davis did draft. He drafted Terrell Pryor. Pryor's down there on the sideline, the former Ohio State Buckeye. Terrell Pryor is the last pick that Al Davis made with the Oakland Raiders. You'll see Terrell later in the ballgame.
And you're really interested to see Pryor and what they're going to do with him. Will he be in a package, something special? It doesn't seem like that's the case. It's like Terrell Pryor's learning how to be a drop-back quarterback right now.
That's what head coach Dennis Allen wants to see, his progress from under the center in a conventional system. But I think down the road, you're going to see some special offense for Pryor.
There's a Leinart pass that is complete to Rod Streeter. That's a first down for Oakland out of the 25-yard line.
I want you to see this left corner, Mike, number 20, Teddy Williams. Watch him trigger this quick pass right here, get out of his pedal and make the tackle. Teddy Williams never played college football. Bet you didn't know that, Mike.
I didn't.
Sprinter. This kid ran against Usain Bolt. He has real speed, and he's made progress as a corner, and I know Rob Ryan wants to see a lot of him tonight.
Leinart from the 25, and Streeter again. And he stopped the yard shy of the first down. Mana Silva.
Well, every year there's a sleeper that comes into your camp, and you say, who is this kid? Not drafted, not a lot of production at Temple. Played 2 years at Alfred State. I don't even know if you know where Alfred State is, Mike. But Streeter has come in here quietly and been consistent. There you see his fourth catch already. We mentioned he's a high jumper. Jacoby Ford's dropping passes. Kreiner's dropped one. Streeter's making a name for himself.
Run by Miller, and a first down for Lanye Miller out of Fresno State. You mentioned it, John, with Streeter, 37-inch vertical, ran a 4.37 on his pro day. That opened eyes for some to bring him in. And in this league, that is now 7 rounds of the draft. Those undrafted free agents, 2 or 3 seem to make rosters every year. And Streeter has opened eyes enough here that they feel very confident. They traded Lewis Murphy, another receiver they had here in Oakland. So the rookie Kreiner, Streeter, Jacoby Ford, Darius Hayward-Bay. That pass by Leinart incomplete. Raiders sideline wanted a flag, and none was thrown.
You know, the Raiders have always had speed. You're throwing around 4.37, 4.39s today like it's nothing. I was here with James Jetman, a silver medalist winner. Look at this kid run. That was fast. I remember Willie Galt. Al Davis would show me these cut-ups. That was real fast, TIRICO. And then we had a kid, Bo Jackson, out of Auburn. When he got to corner, he was gone. The Oakland Raiders are known for 4.37s and 4.38s.
That was the famous Monday Night Football run. Ran right up into the tunnel there in the old King Dome. Miller tried to reverse his field. And Alex Albright out of Boston College made that tackle. That was really a trademark of the Al Davis years, John. The speed of the receivers, and speed everywhere. I love to collect trophy winners and talented college players.
I used to stand on the field and players would run by real fast. He'd grab me and say, "Did you feel that?" I'd say, "Yeah, I felt that, man." We had a lot of speed. And the coach's job was to take that speed and use it.
Right.
We had them on defense. We had guys that could run on offense. I failed miserably most of the time.
No.
But, boy, when you got one to hit it, it was awesome.
You mentioned defense, too. The corners, all those corners over the years could run as well. Weingart on 3rd and 10, facing pressure, finding Miller. He's going to be 4 yards shy of the first down, as we hit the halfway point of the second quarter with no points scored.
Dallas has a pass rusher here I really like, Victor Butler, number 57. He kind of disappeared late last year. I don't know why it is. Here he is working against number 60 out of Rutgers. You see Kevin Haslam, and every time I seem to watch Butler carefully, he shows a knack for rushing the passer. Boy, they need another one opposite Ware.
A lot of times when you're watching that, it's 3rd down. The question with Butler, can he be a 1st and 2nd down factor as well? King kicks it toward the sideline and out of bounds. And the Cowboys will take over inside their own 20-yard line. 7:03 to go. Still looking for the first points of the season for these guys. Well, 3 drives and not much for the Dallas first-team offense. And Tony Romo's night is done, and the new backup here for the Cowboys, Kyle Orton, set to take over. A player with plenty of starting experience, 69 starts in his NFL career. Orton started last year in Denver, then got T-bowed, and finished the year in Kansas City. From the 19, Jameis Olawale, rookie out of North Texas, with a nice first down gain. John Wade Wilson is the quarterback coach here for the Cowboys. He was with Orton when he started in Chicago, so he gets one familiar person there. What kind of backup does Romo have with Orton instead of John Kitna?
Well, you're getting an experienced quarterback, obviously, but look, Orton has had some strange things happen to him. He beat the team he started with last year, Mike. He beat the Broncos when he was with the Chiefs, but he's got some tall shoes to fill, I think, because John Kitna was a valuable member of this football team, not only as a player, but he helped Tony Romo behind the scenes in preparation. And Orton's got to learn this system so he can execute it, so the brain trust will be a little bit different in the quarterback room. There's no question Kyle can play, but they did lose a key member, leadership member in John Kitna.
You're talking about all the stuff that happens in the week and preparing, and when you come off to the sideline, is that guy seeing the game the same way you do?
Absolutely.
The question for Cowboy fans is, if Romo gets hurt, if you need to go in for a couple of games, are you better off with Orton than you were with Kitna as your backup? First down just shy of the 30. And Orton's pass just off the hands of Andrew Zerba, the rookie tight end out of Penn State, and incomplete.
I think the big concern with the Cowboys, we've already talked about, is this offensive line. They've had a lot of injuries. They're going to have a lot of people playing different positions. But I want to know, who is the 3rd receiver going to be for the Dallas Cowboys? Is it going to be number 85, Kevin Ogletree? Is it going to be number 15? Everyone's raving about this big Andre Holmes out of Hillsdale College. Tony Romo came in raving about Cole Beasley, number 14, out of SMU. But I want to know who's going to take Laurent Robinson's spot, because Robinson's in Jacksonville.
Beasley's 14. He's in the slot. Orton working the other side and complete to Ogletree. He's been around Dallas for a while. First down at the 42-yard line for the 4th-year man out of Virginia.
It's a simple hook route. You're going to see Ogletree back the corner, Van Dyke off. Well thrown ball by Kyle Orton. They need Ogletree to make competitive plays. 3rd down, red zone. They need a mentally tough kid that can throw the cape off in cold weather and make a play on 3rd down.
No, 36. 50, ain't it?
Back to Jameis Olawale for minimal gain. John, let's go back to that point for a second. Miles Austin's out with a hamstring injury. Remember, he had problems with that injury, missing 6 games last year. We went to Des Bryant's off-the-field problems. Jason Garrett said last night, Bryant's been great, terrific on the field with the football stuff thus far in training camp. But you need a third receiver in this league. LaRon Robinson caught 11 touchdowns for this Cowboy team last year.
Michael Irvin didn't even catch 11 touchdowns. That's a lot of production you need to replace.
Out of a guy who came out of nowhere for them last year in Robinson. Second and 9, draw to the big back out of North Texas. He's not going anywhere, and a flag down again.
Carrier stopped after the line of scrimmage, a penalty flag on the play.
This big back is an interesting story.
Holding. Offense number 62. 10-yard penalty. Replay, second half.
It's David Arkin, the center we were talking about earlier.
You know, DeMarco Murray, Felix Jones, they're not the biggest backs. Jason Garrett told us last night, hey, we're looking for a big back, and they started handing the ball to this Jameis Olawale. No one even knew how to say his name, and they're watching a goal line scrimmage, and he's exploding through the end zone. Keep an eye on this kid. He might be able to find a way on this roster with a good preseason.
Not as though he was a guy who carried it a lot during his college days at North Texas and at El Camino Junior College. The Orton pass is complete to James Hanna. That's the 6th-round pick for the Cowboys out of Oklahoma.
Yeah, Hanna can run. He made a lot of plays down the field. Not a lot of receptions, but when he did catch a pass, it was for a big gain. But here's just a simple pivot right over his inside shoulder. Once again, good location by Orton. You see Hanna's a good hands catcher. This is not a blocking tight end. This is one of those Joker deluxe tight ends you're seeing a lot of in pro football. But Hanna can stretch a defense and catch the football.
Martellus Bennett no longer here with the Cowboys. John Phillips and Hanna are the backups for Witten. That one through the hands of Olawale and incomplete. And it'll be 4th down. Dallas offense, and John pointed out those 2 key issues, and injury really hasn't given them a good starting look at what they're receiving for and their offensive line. Adding Nate Lavings and Mackenzie Bernardo, the guards who they've put in there on that offensive front, and the issues at center we detailed earlier. Jones the punt. Ford caught it at the 13 and returns it 5.5 yards. So Oakland takes over inside its own 20, and when we come back, Lisa will talk to the quarterback of the Cowboys, Tony Romo. Ball, their own 19. Here's Lisa with Tony Romo.
Thank you, Mike. Tony, you got off to a really rough start. What was going on with the offensive line early?
Well, we got some young guys in there, and they're learning. We have a guy who just started playing center this last week, and he's fighting hard. So I think we're just trying to get better right now, and we got to correct some of the mistakes we made tonight. We'll look at the tape, and we'll get better from it.
You've been talking a lot about eliminating the mental mistakes. The thoughts that went through your mind when the special teams had the penalty that kept their offense out on the field?
Well, you have no chance in the National Football League if you're going to make the mistakes that we made. I know we're going to go over this as a team, and I'm going to stay on these guys, and I think we're all going to hold each other accountable and make sure this stuff doesn't happen this year. And it's an important aspect, and we can use it as a teaching tool tonight.
Statistically, you had the best season of your career last year, and yet you came in and you were talking to us the other day and said, there are areas I got to get better. What areas do you feel you can improve on?
Oh, everything. I think as a quarterback, you're always looking to get better. Throughout my career, I think the whole objective has just been be a better player than you were the year before. And the only way to do that is to assess yourself from a realistic point of view and go out and figure out how to do it. And you watch a lot of tape. You go out on your own and throw a million balls and just do the things that you need to, whether it's through your thought process or your brain or mechanics or whatever.
All right, thank you very much for your time, and good luck this season.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Tony. Big hit by Alex Albright on the pass to Rod Streeter. As we get close here to the 2-minute warning, and Oakland will have a 3rd down coming up. Romo gets a lot of criticism. We'll talk about it in the second half. He's a lightning rod for so much stuff, and perhaps those don't appreciate what he's accomplished so far. A guy who wasn't drafted in the NFL. 2-minute warning here in Oakland. 0-0. 0. I think Kyle Busch is still seething. What an unbelievable finish at Watkins Glen yesterday as Marcus Ambrose won, and now the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series goes to the Irish Hills of Michigan, the Pure Michigan 400. Sunday, noon Eastern, the coverage begins. Look who's on top of the points list all of a sudden. Jimmy Johnson once again. Winding up towards the chase. You'll see it all here on ESPN. Oh, 0-0. The great Jim Otto's number and the score. No score in the first 28 minutes of this one. Raiders come out to the 2-minute warning with a 3rd down and 2. And they're back up. Matt Leinart got rid of it quick. Completed it right at the 1st down mark. It was Brandon Carswell, another USC product. Free agent signed this year. Guy caught 40 balls in his years with SC.
It's a nice play by Leinart. The blitz is on. He finds his hot receiver and makes the accurate throw for the 1st down.
Need to work on a 2-minute drill with the backups. Lanye Miller is tackled in the open field by Danny McCray. That guy was always on special teams tackles, it seems, for Dallas.
This is an area that you want to see a backup quarterback in during the preseason. A 2-minute drill. Let him call the play. So far, Leinart's done a nice job.
2nd and 3 takes a hit as he completes it to the middle of the field and midfield to Streeter. And the Raiders take a timeout with 1:09 remaining.
Nice slot combination on the backside. They use number 13, Brandon Carswell, underneath, and they find our guy Streeter over the top. Good throw.
Halftime show coming up. Guys on Chad Johnson's future after his arrest over the weekend is released by the Dolphins. Week 1 preseason highlights. Andrew Luck lighting it up early on for Indianapolis. Morton Adam Schefter will have their news and notes. And they'll join Tom Jackson and Chris Berman on the Toyota halftime show coming up in a bit. A great start for Luck. Just like Peyton Manning. First pass, albeit a check down, ends up a touchdown. Leinart giving it inside to Miller. No gain here as we'll duck under a minute.
Like the Cowboys stunted their defensive lineman right into that draw play. Interesting call there at midfield.
Leinart pressured again, taking another shot for Streeter. That one through his hands and incomplete. C.J. Wilson out of Baylor over there on the coverage with him.
Let's take a look at Streeter, what he's done tonight. He's been the highlight show for this ball game, the young man out of Temple.
3rd and 11.
Guy caught 19 balls all year. Last year at Temple, he's got 6 here in his first preseason game.
That time it didn't look like he expected the football. Run every route as if you're the primary, you never know.
The other young receiver that's opened eyes in Raider camp, bottom of your screen, Teron Kreiner. And the throw is incomplete. As David Osbury, another USC Trojan, former receiver now playing tight end, was the intended target.
Now, those were 3 ugly plays right there at midfield. A draw that backfired against the Cowboys stunt. Looked like Streeter didn't expect the ball on 2nd down. Then we get an errant throw on 3rd down. Raiders have squandered some good field position here in the first half, Mike.
Marquette King. Fair catch signaled for and made. Those are things coaches want to see if they're going to put a guy back. Cole Beasley.
You know, one of the things these Cowboys need to find is a 3rd receiver. And you see in the slot right here at the top of the screen is Cole Beasley. And Romo looks the free safety off. He creates a one-on-one opportunity for Beasley down the seam. That 3rd receiver has to win. You have to beat the other team's 3rd corner. Somebody with these stars on their helmet needs to step up to the plate and dominate and win that job for Tony Romo.
A couple of them on the field here. Andre Holmes, 15, the big guy. Beasley, the small slot man. It's thrown underneath to Hanna. The rookie tight end takes it across the 21. 27 seconds left, and Kyle Orton will take a timeout. You know, Plexico Burris' name has come up In both places, really. Oakland because they don't have any veteran receivers, and in Dallas because of the lack of a third receiver. He worked out in New England over the weekend. Spoke to Jerry Jones, the owner, president, GM of the Cowboys before the game. And he said it really is going to have to take a preseason where we see nothing's happening to go out and get a veteran guy, not just Plex, but any other veterans who might be in the mix. So they're going to try to go through these 4 games in 17 days and find their third receiver on the roster.
Well, we went through this last year with the New York Giants. We kept asking, who is this kid? Who is this kid? He ends up being Victor Cruz. Every once in a while, the light comes on. You just hope it turns on for number 15, Andre Holmes, one of these young wide receivers here in Dallas.
Remember, they brought in Brandon Stokely the week we were there, week 2 in New York. Orton's pass over the middle is caught by Andre Holmes. There's the 6'4 receiver out of Hillsdale College in Michigan.
Deep square in pattern. It's a staple of the Cowboy offense. You see why they like the 6'4 Andre Holmes. He can line up on the outside. He can create a big surface to throw at on these inside breaks. Impressive catch by the young man out of Hillsdale. Watch him, just the square in. He gets off the release, gets off the jam, finds the ball early, sees it leave Orton's hands, and snatches it.
Chimde Chekwa was there trying to cover Holmes. He was in Minnesota's camp last year, cut, ended up on Dallas's practice squad. And when you go around the preseason, you see a lot of that. Those transactions that just, they become white noise, really, when you start hearing them or reading them. Guys who sign on practice squads. Well, he was at least around and in a camp, so he had a little bit of a head start when he got into the OTAs and this preseason camp for Dallas.
And Holmes is one of those 3 Cowboys that failed the conditioning test. He got his eyes open quickly as training camp began. They're counting on this kid to really make it competitive down the stretch.
One timeout, 20 seconds left. The Orton throw toward Holmes is incomplete.
Well, there's that 2 deep man under. That time Holmes was a little bit late off the ball. Timing disrupted a little bit there, and Orton threw the ball away. Take a look at it. Inside technique by Chekwa. Holmes breaks to the outside. Timing was off from the beginning. It looked to me like Holmes was late off the ball.
Matt Giordano, the safety, covering the back end of that for the Raiders. Now down to 16 seconds left. Orton overthrown and intercepted. Mike Mitchell takes it into Dallas territory with 5 seconds left.
Mitchell with the interception.
The guy with some starting experience, started 4 times last year for the Raiders.
Well, Kyle's going to be late down the middle, and he's going to pay for it. Mitchell just reads his eyes the whole way, and he could have fair caught that one. Nice job by number 17, Dwayne Harris, making the tackle in that situation. Sometimes you want to push it when you're inside of 10 or 15 seconds, but in this league, you better be ready to tackle because these defensive backs can take it to the house. Nice play by Mitchell.
Former second-round pick. 19 yards on the return. See what the Raiders will do with 5 seconds left. Sebastian Janikowski standing on the sidelines with his legs getting loose. You know, from here it would be 64 yards.
I used to say, what's the point, Seabass?
Timeout taken by Dallas here as they see the Raiders come up with trips to the right. How much politicking? Janikowski has an unbelievable leg. How much politicking did he do for long field goals?
You have no idea. We played the Denver Broncos one year, Mike. Him and Shane Leckler were rookies, right, and they were punting the ball in that altitude. And they're screaming, "Hey, coach, I made a 76-yarder." Leckler's punting the ball out of the stadium. They were going to give me a heart attack, both of them. So I nicknamed Janikowski Butthead, and I nicknamed Leckler Beavis. I called him Beavis and Butthead for 2 years. And, man, have they matured, developed, and become 2 of the greats at their positions in NFL history. What Shane Leckler has done and Janikowski in the record books may never be duplicated here in Oakland. They came out together. We got Janikowski in the 1st round. We got Leckler in the 5th round. And they used to drive me crazy, and all Janikowski would do would make that noise. That and then I'd yell at Leckler, and he'd go, huh, huh. Remember that show on MTV I used to watch all the time? I said, that's who they are. They're just like Beavis and Butthead. But, man, are they reliable at what they do.
13th year, they're the kicking tandem here. So after those timeouts taken, Miller runs the ball to the right. And there's 90 seconds of your life that you'll never get back. Some bad ball in that first half. Looked like preseason game 1. No score. Here's Chris Berman with the Toyota halftime show.
12 preseason started. Mike Tirico, John Gruden, Lisa Salters on the sideline in a bit. Now, obviously, that was not good football. There's plenty of teaching points for the second half and then for the coming week. But talk to me about Dennis Allen, the rookie head coach of the Oakland Raiders. That was probably an interesting halftime that he had, not because he was angry at his team necessarily.
Well, I remember the first time I went into the locker room at halftime at home. Okay, the offense is sitting over here. The defense is sitting over here. The coaches are sitting over here together. Then we break up. We go meet. You make the adjustments. You make your substitutions. You collect your thoughts. Talk to the players. It's time to go. But I'm sure Dennis Allen's going through a lot of that, Mike. Just the mechanics of game day.
Right.
When it's halftime, here's how I want it done. When we come out to start the third quarter, here's how we start it and get on with it.
All right, before the third quarter starts, here's Lisa.
Hey, Michael, I just spoke to Dennis Allen. He said, we just had too many drop balls, not executing on third downs. He said, we did a nice job of moving the ball on offense, but we just got to do a better job of finishing drives. For Jason Garrett of the Cowboys, he said, just too many errors. We gave them 4 fourth downs, and that really limited what we could do on offense. He said, but we really just want to see these guys play. We want to see them play through their successes and play through their adversity. Mike.
All right, Lisa, thank you.
Number 20.
Eddie Carmona is the backup to Sebastian Janikowski, another leg to have in camp. His rookie out of Harding. He's going to kick it off. And John mentioned this player earlier, Teddy Williams, track star, limited football experience, back deep to receive. He's about 8 yards deep and gets a chance to show the speed. Or not. 17-yard line.
Number 10 and number 20, Teddy Williams on the kickoff.
Credit on that tackle for the Raiders. So Kyle Orton will come back out. And Dallas has another story here later on in the game. Who will be their third quarterback? Stephen McGee and Rudy Carpenter. We'll detail that when those guys come back in.
And there's really no guarantee that you're going to keep 3 quarterbacks. You're competing against other players at other positions. I know Jerry Jones well enough and Jason Garrett to know that they're going to keep the best 53 Cowboys. They're not going to be locked in to keep an X amount of players at each position. You got to earn your way onto this football team.
Jameis Olawale is the back, and Orton complete to the rookie tight end Andrew Zerba. Out of Penn State, Mike Mitchell the tackle for a first down. Nice gain of 18.
On the reception from Kyle Orton.
It's a nice little corner route by Zerba, the tight end, and Orton's in good rhythm and accurate. You protect these quarterbacks, get them open receivers, they'll complete every pass. Well done.
Officially, the gain is 20. Dwayne Harris at the bottom of your screen. Another receiver in that mix for the Cowboys. As Olawale runs left for about 5 yards.
You know, another defender that Reggie McKenzie, the general manager of the Raiders, drafted, Mike. Number 96, Christo Bilakidi out of Georgia State. He's the first player ever drafted. And he's a nose tackle, had some sack production. But they're looking for another big body to rotate inside with Seymour and Kelly, their 2 best players.
And 2 of their older players, and expensive players at that, on the defensive end. Cleanup tackle. Finally brings down Olawale.
You know, speaking
Seymour
of Seymour,
didn't play tonight.
Yeah, but speaking of Richard Seymour, he epitomizes, to me, what Al Davis was all about. I remember Al Davis. He always wanted Seymour. He loved Seymour coming out of Georgia. He probably walked down the hall one day and he says, guys, I got Seymour. Yes, he gave up a lot to get him. I think he's the highest paid defensive player in pro football. But if Al Davis wanted you, there's a good chance he was going to get you. But he's still a fine football player. They need to get him right. He's the leader of this Raider football team.
Third down, pressure comes. Fill the play with a penalty flag for a false start.
before the snap. False start. Offense number 78. 5-yard penalty. Remains third down.
John, let's go back to Seymour a second. Remember the trade with the Patriots, and Bill Belichick dealt directly with Al Davis on that deal and brought Richard over here, who did go to the Pro Bowl again last year.
Yeah, that's the first guy Dennis Allen went to see. He went to see Richard Seymour, trying to sell his program to his veteran defensive tackle, and Seymour has bought in. He's lighter this year. I think he's going to have a terrific season, but Dennis Allen has gone after his key veterans to help him install his program.
3rd and 9. Nice catch by Andre Holmes. That's a couple of grabs for the 6'4" receiver, and everyone counts in this battle for the 3rd receiver spot.
Well, he's 6'4". Watch him get off the ball. It's inside technique, too deep, man-to-man underneath. He snaps out of that break, finds the ball, and catches it away from his body. That's what you love about big targets that can catch the ball away from their body. They got huge wingspans. 2 nice plays by Andre Holmes. Maybe that's why Plaxico isn't in town yet, Mike.
Plug.
45, and Cowboy draw, 9-yard gain for Olawale. With a big stick by Brandon Underwood coming up, along with Travis Gaethel on the tackle. So you're Dennis Allen. You've never had a head coaching job before. You get this Raider job. It's the first post-Al Davis head coach. And there's so many things you have to deal with. How important is it? You were a young coach in your 30s. How important is it to reach out to those veterans close in age and make sure that you got them on your team?
Oh, I think it's critical. Look, respect is a two-way street. You got to earn the respect of your players, and I think that's a great move by Dennis Allen, meeting Richard Seymour halfway. I remember when I came up here as the head coach, I met Tim Brown. He was the first guy I sought out. Tim Brown thought I was the mailman. He says, "You're not the head coach, are you?"
Javaris Williams bounces to the outside, lowers his shoulder. The flag comes in as Brandon Underwood got taken down. Javaris Williams' first run for the running back out of Tennessee State, who was signed this week.
Holding. Offense number 17. 10-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
That's Dwayne Harris, the wide receiver.
I'll take it a step further, though. Not only do you go see a Richard Seymour, like in my case, Tim Brown, you start bringing in veteran players. You start developing your players with your program in mind. We would have never turned the Oakland Raiders around had it not been for Steve Wisniewski and Tim Brown and reaching out to guys like Russell Maryland and Eric Allen, Greg Beaker. We had a nucleus of 6 or 7 veterans that really blazed the trail for the young guys to follow. And I know Dennis Allen has reached out to Tommy Kelly, Richard Seymour, Carson Palmer. He's got enough juice here from a veteran standpoint to help him immediately.
2nd and 4, play clock running down. And on the run, it's Williams. We'll have the first down yardage at the 32-yard line.
You know, another thing I like about what Dennis has done, Mike, is he's embraced this Raider tradition. You just come to a Raider game, you're going to, hey, that's Jim Otto. I just got knocked down by George Atkinson. There's Willie Brown. These are Hall of Fame, all-time greats. And when you're the head coach of this football team, I think whether you like it or not, you embrace this tradition. There's Jim Plunkett, a world champion quarterback. You learn to love these great players that still come around and watch these Raiders play.
Yard gain for Olawale. It still amazes me. We were at practice. Tom Flores was there. He now does the radio commentary for the Raiders. Fred Bolitnikoff was there. And there's Tom in the booth next to us with Greg Papa, the voice of the Raiders. They are, it's so in their blood, and it's the same thing with you. Even with the circumstances of leaving here, there's a special magnet and pull about this place that is unique to the NFL. And there's John Madden, who was the last head coach with defensive ties, hired by Al Davis off the defensive side of the ball, until Dennis Allen was hired here. 2nd and 9, and the hand fighting as Harris was trying to get free is going to result in a penalty on the second-year corner, DeMarcus Van Dyke.
Well, they need DeMarcus Van Dyke to come through for him. He's one of the few young corners in camp.
Pass interference. Defense number 23.
That can really run.
First down.
But that's an obvious pass interference penalty. And look, the Raiders send both their starting corners from year. Even their third corner, Lito Shepard, on. They brought in Bartell. They brought in Shante Spencer. They need Van Dyke to prove he belongs in the National Football League. I know he can run fast, but he's got to prove he can tackle, stay away from penalties, and play the ball.
Opening drive, third quarter here for the Cowboys. And again, it's Mays Olawale. Lose a yard there. You saw the penalty flag on Van Dyke, keeping this drive alive. There it is. Broken down all those total penalties for the Raiders, and a lot on the defensive side. No surprise, 25 personal fouls or unsportsmanlike conduct type penalties.
Bad football. There's no other way to put it. You will not win in the National Football League or at any level of football committing those types of penalties.
Great video for the Cowboy coaches on these other receivers as we get near the red zone, and Orton pass is held on to in traffic by Holmes at the 15-yard line. And John, one of the things they're talking about with this third receiver and the size of Holmes at 6'4", 223, can he use that size just to shield defensive backs and make plays like that?
And not only that, when you're a third receiver, it sounds like you just come off the bench and play all the time. But when you're the third receiver, that means you're the third best receiver. So if your flanker gets hurt, you go in there and you play for Miles Austin. If Des Bryant comes out of the game, you go in there and play the split end position, play your own position. You got to be ready to play 3 positions every Sunday in pro football. It ain't for everybody.
3rd and 6 from the 15. And the throw trying to get it again to Holmes is incomplete, covered by Chimde Chekwa.
Chekwa's another young corner, former Ohio State Buckeye. I thought Orton was expecting Holmes to look a little bit quicker, more suddenly on the back shoulder throw. And that's where quarterback and receiver have to watch tape together. They got to fly home, sit next to each other on the plane, and straighten that out.
Dan Bailey had a good year last year, good enough that David Beeler, who was a draft pick a few years ago, is now gone. And Bailey puts the first points on the board from 33 yards. Woo. 3 points. Wow. Started last year, those number 12 jerseys, get some of those youngsters out on the field as the NFL comes back. First game of the preseason, honoring their fans by selecting 90 amazing fans to be on the field during the pregame. Did it when the lockout ended and get some youth football, USA football involved. And just gets them a little bit closer to the action. Those youngsters were out on the field before the game began tonight here in Oakland.
Number 29, Ryan McCann.
Delbert Alvarado, the other kicker for the Cowboys, out of South Florida. He kicked there and punted as well. Kicks it to Brian McCann of the Raiders. Nowhere to go for McCann. And a good job taking him all the way across the field by the tight end James Hanna, that rookie. Well, when we come back, something you really haven't seen an extended version for about 20 months. Terrell Pryor playing football when we come back. Former Buckeye Terrell Pryor, controversial departure at Ohio State, and came to the NFL in the supplemental draft, the 3rd round last year. That happened after the lockout, so he showed up at the end, really, of preseason. Played 1 snap for the Raiders last year, but that was nullified for a false start penalty in the game that Jason Campbell broke his collarbone. The most extensive work he's had in 20 months tonight. And Lanye Miller on the toss to the right, gaining about 4 yards. John, you have to go back to the Sugar Bowl at the end of the 2010 season. Remember, we knew he was going to be suspended for 5 games the following season, which he never went to Ohio State for. And this was the show he put on, MVP performance in the Sugar Bowl.
Just got to develop his foundation of being a quarterback at this level. He has question that is obvious to everybody that's ever seen him. He's got a lot of work to do in his footwork and fundamentals.
2nd and 6. Adjusted the play to that run for Miller for less than a yard. You remember it was the tattoo scandal around Ohio State. It eventually led to the change of head coach, Jim Tressel out, and then Pryor, who served that suspension, then got in. So Johnny really started with no chance to get up to speed on offense last year. So what are you looking for as you watch him in here tonight?
Well, I think the Raiders, listening to Dennis Allen, the head coach, Greg Knapp, the offensive coordinator, they want to see him develop his foundation as a quarterback in this offense, playing from the pocket, doing the standard things that you see every Sunday. I think down the road, you're going to see a package or two that utilize this kid's strength running the football.
Here's the first throwing attempt, 3rd and 5, and here he goes out of the pocket, and can only get a yard out of it. Bumped out by Teddy Williams. So it's a 3 and out for the Raiders.
Excuse me, Mike. I just go back to the state of pro football. The game is changing. There's more and more option-type football showing up in the NFL. You saw what Cam Newton did last year. He's the only quarterback to ever throw for 4,000 and run for 700 in the same year. Robert Griffin, I think you're going to see some things in Washington. We all know about Tebow. Here's another kid, Terrell Pryor, who's had tremendous success in that spread option style of attack.
Good punting from Marquette King tonight. Another rocket shot taking Beasley back to the 21. Cole Beasley trying to get the 3rd receiver job, also getting a long look in punt returns as well. Bill Romanowski talking about former Raiders who are here. We'll talk with Lisa after this. Field goal in the 3rd, the only point to this preseason opener, and Lisa down there with a guest.
That's right, Mike. I'm with former Raider linebacker Bill Romanowski. Bill, you are now a member of the media. You cover the team for a local station. My first question to you is, how has the culture changed around Raiders football in this new era?
Well, a lot of difference in business structure, of course. Dennis Allen has brought a lot of discipline, a lot of structure to this team, much needed. And I tell you what, it's paying off. He was real intense for the first, 2 to 3 months of this offseason. He's starting to let up a little bit, but he's really grinding them hard, and he wants detail out of these guys. He wants these guys to be able to do the right thing, not get a lot of penalties, and if they can do that on a regular basis, they got a lot of talented guys. They got a good quarterback with a new defensive scheme. You never know.
You give me an example of how things have changed. You were just telling me a few seconds ago.
Well, just for instance, training camp. I used to be able to show up at training camp and walk right out on the field. Well, guess what? I had to get a pass, and I had to check in, but that's good. That kind of structure is really good. But when Al Davis was here, hey, you walk out at training camp, you say hello to Mr. Davis, and then you walk along the sidelines, and you watch practice.
Thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good luck to you in your new career.
Appreciate it.
Mike.
3rd most all-time postseason games played in the NFL. Bill Romanowski played in 26. He's tied for that. Many of them here in the Bay Area. New quarterback for the Cowboys, Stephen McGee. Had that 16-yard completion you saw to the fullback, Sean Chappis. Very interesting preseason here from McGee, now in his 4th year out of Texas A&M. The penalty, the McGee pass is knocked down by Jamie Cumbie out of Clemson. John McGee was a terrific high school quarterback. Burnett High School took him to the finals. Running quarterback, over 1,700 rushing yards at A&M. Is he an NFL quarterback? We've seen him start a couple of games in the league.
Well, anytime you bring in a veteran quarterback like Kyle Orton, you're sending a message to Stephen McGee. And believe me, Jason Garrett is going to watch McGee's mannerisms and his performance carefully. Sometimes it brings out the best in a competitor. Sometimes it doesn't. But McGee's going to have to fight, as I said earlier, to make this team.
6'3", 225, certainly the measurables. 2nd and 15, blitz coming off the corner, and the pass behind it is incomplete. It was Mike Mitchell who had the pick earlier with the corner pressure.
Let me tell you about this Dennis Allen defense. They're going to bring a lot of strong safety pressures. Much like the New Orleans Saints did with Roman Harper, they're going to use Mitchell, number 34, certainly Michael Huff as blitzers. And when you meet Tavon Branch, you're going to see a lot of strong safety blitzes. It's a big part of this defense. There's Jason Tarver. How impressive was he when we met him? They call him the mad chemist here. He's always drawing up blitzes and coverages, passionate, knowledgeable. That kid commands the room.
He's the new defensive coordinator. McGee on 3rd and 15. Completing it to Dwayne Harris, working the sideline, diving for the mark, but he's going to be 3 yards short of the first down.
But I want to go back to this Raider defense. It's going to be a little bit like what you've seen from the Saints, I believe, over the years, Mike. The 3-down package in the sub-downs. You're going to see the 4-3. You're going to see spontaneous 3-4 looks. You're going to see a lot of different muddy coverages. And that kid right there, Seymour, is going to be the keys that start the engine. He and his buddy, Tommy Kelly, got to play great for the silver and black.
Cowboys will go for it here on 4th and 2. And McGee's pass deflected for the second time. Chad Kilgore, linebacker out of Northwest Missouri State.
Another blitz. 4th down. Kilgore coming right off your left side. Disrupts the pass. Raiders are off the field. Great play.
John, when you were coaching the Raiders, training camp in Napa, did you take a date? Did you go down to a cellar? Did you go to try to sample a Petite Syrah or anything along the way?
No, I did not, Mike.
But now,
is that the greatest training camp setup ever?
It's really good. But how about some of these wineries and the vintners who are so giving of their time and of their wine as well?
Well, when you're in the wine cellar listening to the violin music, I'm down here in the black hole with Spike.
Shut up!
Look at these fans. This is where I like to go.
This is preseason in mid-season form. Terrell Pryor taking over from his own 40 and uses that athletic ability to get out to the edge of the pass. Incomplete, intended for Rod Streeter.
Well, it's a bootleg once again. They fake that zone stretch play. He comes out naked to his left. Nice work by Pryor throwing it away. Now watch this as this young quarterback gets in the huddle. There's no wristband. He's got to memorize the formation, the motion, the shift. Look at his teammates, give them the snap count, and get up to the line of scrimmage. And this is the one area that Greg Knapp said they wanted Pryor to improve at. His pre-snap mechanics, getting in and out of the huddle, seeing what he needs to see.
Drop pass incomplete. As his intended receiver, Jerron Kreiner, is covered by Akwasi Owusu-Ansah.
But you see Pryor with his focus on the sideline. He's going to be listening for the play call. And Greg Knapp will give him the play over that headset with a reminder or two. Hey, tell your left tackle to short set. Hey, tell your right guard we're going to use a hard count. Tell your tight end to look hot. And you got to echo a lot of information. I love watching this Terrell Pryor break in.
And that's something that's brand new, and you always see it with rookie quarterbacks. Sometimes they have the wristbands to help them in spitting that play out. Pryor doing it off the verbal from the sideline, and that pass complete to David Osbury for the first down across midfield.
Well, here comes the blitz. It's going to be man-to-man coverage, and Terrell Pryor goes right to his tight end, Osbury, who's a former wide receiver at Southern Cal. Good timing, good throw, and a nice job by Osbury fighting for the first down. They need a tight end to emerge. The Raiders have been hit with injuries here. Brandon Myers, their starter, is not available. But so far, I like some of the things I've seen Richard Gordon do. Nice play by Osbury.
Not a strong position on this team.
No.
19 receptions total last year. The 49, Lanye Miller. Back to his own 49, loss of 2 as Adrian Hamilton made a play. And that's another player here we want to watch in the second half. 53 for the Cowboys in his rookie year out of Prairie View.
That guy's interesting, Mike. You know, he played at Prairie View. 20 and a half sacks he had last year. Led the nation. By the way, he broke the SWAC record for sacks. You know whose record he broke? I bet you don't know.
Dwight Freeney's
Robert Mathis.
Dwight Freeney's tag team partner.
That's right.
I know where Freeney went to school. Don't worry about that.
Well, you went to Syria.
That's where he was. 2nd and 12. Miller for about 7 yards.
I like what Terrell Pryor did there. Gets to the top of his drop, hitches up in the pocket. Cowboys are in a zone defense. He checks the ball down decisively to his halfback, gets the completion, keeps the Raiders in a nice 3rd down and medium. And this is the situation, Mike, where Pryor should be dangerous in his career. 3rd down and 5, because of his ability to run. He's going to limit the kinds of coverages that he'll see. I really want to see Pryor put one down and take off like he did in Columbus.
Watch the play clock here. Off in time. Looking to take off. Not playing the Ohio Bobcats.
No, not playing in the Big Ten either.
Not playing the Hoosiers. We got some people who can keep up with you here.
I usually give people the kiss of death.
But, John, there's the conundrum right there. That's what he has always done. That's what he did in Western PA when he was a star. What he did in Ohio State. You can't do that all the time here.
No, it's good effort by this Cowboy defense. You see number 79, Ben Bass, finishing on the play. Raiders have had a hard time doing anything against Rob Ryan's Cowboy defense today.
Marquette King, who has done a terrific job, gets a lot of hang time here. Not very far, though, and that's bad news when you are the closest player to the ball and you're the punter. Less than 20 yards on the punt. Hey, John, there's your good friend and the guy who, unfortunately, for personal reasons, you had to go up against as the head coach of the Raiders when you and Tampa won Super Bowl 37. Bill Callahan, one of the most respected offensive line coaches in the league, was with the Jets the last couple of years. Now here in Dallas as the offensive coordinator / O-line guy.
Yeah, I think that's a great pickup for the Dallas Cowboys. Coached with Bill a long time. He's a tremendous teacher. He really understands line play, but he's a big picture guy. He's called plays in the NFL. Real good asset to a guy like Tyron Smith and this young offensive line. You're going to see a lot of good improvement throughout the year from Bill Callahan and this Cowboy line.
Stephen McGee remains the quarterback. Jameis Olawale back into run for a gain of 1. I mentioned that you beat Bill Callahan's coach Raiders in the Super Bowl. Of course, you and Bill were together. He was the offensive line coach with you here in Oakland.
He's one of the great workers I've ever been around. I mean, this man lives in a dark room. He comes up with great schemes. Just a tremendous teacher. And look, he's helped Nick Mangold. He helped DeBrickshaw Ferguson get to the Pro Bowls. Helped me, certainly, maintain my job in this league. He did a lot of work, and he'll continue to do so with the way he works.
Second and 9, McGee's pass. That'll be a first down as Tim Benford, another one of the backup receivers, having a good camp at a Tennessee Tech, the rookie. So, John, Jason Garrett will still call the plays even though Callahan's the offensive coordinator and O-line coach. How do their theories and their thoughts on football mesh? Because you know both of them pretty well.
I think there's a lot of similarities. Now, don't forget, they have to replace Hudson Houck, who was a long-time staple in Dallas as their offensive line coach. And that's no easy task. But Bill Callahan's a team guy. He's a great learner. He can adjust with anybody from Rex Ryan to John Gruden to certainly Jason Garrett. The two of them, they're going to have a nice battery this year.
Winding down the third. Olawale runs just to midfield. He's been busy with 10 carries here for 34 yards. Through 3 in Oakland. 3-0 Cowboys. First preseason game for both teams. It's the start of a new era in Oakland after the passing of Al Davis back in October. At age 82, 1963, became the head coach, general manager of the Raiders, then left for a very brief period, just a short time, to become the commissioner of the AFL, helped the merger happen, then came back to that managing general partner title that he held is the man who made all the decisions for the Raiders, the personnel decisions, hired so many young coaches. And as we talk about Raider history and Raider legends over the years, John, there are a lot of things that Al Davis is known for. The vertical passing game, the other team's quarterback must go down hard, just win, baby, commitment to excellence. But a trailblazer, first black coach, Art Shell, first Latino coach, Tom Flores, first female CEO of a team, Amy Trask, who's still in charge of the business operations for the Raiders. So many things that he did. They're a landmark in NFL history. Stephen McGee starting the fourth quarter. His pass complete. Shy of the first down as it's picked up by Sean Chappis, the fullback. We hear the stories of Al Davis having this overarching personality for the coaches and everybody else, but what was it like day in, day out to have Al Davis as your boss?
It was a tremendous learning opportunity. There was pressure. I'm not going to tell you there wasn't. But the Raiders personified Al Davis. He had no other job. It wasn't like he was going on vacations or doing anything else, but figuring out how to improve the Oakland Raiders. And if you were the head coach, you better be on call 24/7.
Olawale with the carry for the first down. Well, the new people taking over, we mentioned his son Mark is now the owner, and he hired that gentleman, Reggie McKenzie, who's the first general manager of this franchise since Al Davis, and he lit that cauldron, that flame that is lit by a Raider great, a Raider legend, and then they sign it. You see John Madden's name up there before every game. It's kind of their testimony to Al's spirit and a reminder that it stays around and is a part of the Raiders every time they play here in Oakland. First and 10 for the 41-yard line, and Javaris Williams comes left, and he's going to be stopped for no gain. So you go back to Al Davis's days putting together the Raiders. His right-hand man was Ron Wolf, who many people of this generation might know for putting together the Packers teams, Mike Holmgren, Favre, the Super Bowl crew. So Ron Wolf, one of his right-hand men in Green Bay, is Reggie McKenzie. So it's not as though Al Davis said, hire Reggie McKenzie, but certainly the lineage is there for a guy who played for the Raiders as well, now the GM.
54, Mike. B.
This is McGee, a 2nd and 10 shot downfield. Tim Benford, the intended receiver. Brian McCann with the coverage.
You know, Reggie McKenzie was drafted by the Raiders in 1985, played 40 games. Look at him, 10th round draft choice, worked as a scout for a long time, worked his way up in the Packer organization, and he's got his work cut out for him. He's inheriting a horrific salary cap in some ways. He didn't have a 1st or 2nd round draft choice, but there's silver and black blood in Reggie McKenzie's body. He knows how important his franchise is, and I think they have the right guy to bring it back.
3rd and 10. McGee's pass complete. Javaris Williams, heavy hit on the sideline. Chad Kilgore with a flag down. Looks like a hold to keep McGee protected.
Number 31, Terrell Lambert on the tackle. There is a penalty flag of the play.
Dead ball. Personal foul. Offense number 65. 15-yard penalty. 4th down.
Ronald Leary, the guard.
You know, Reggie McKenzie and his brother Raleigh, twins. Reggie McKenzie hired his brother to come with him and help him. There's Raleigh sitting in the background, a former center of the Redskins, but those two were 11th, 10th round draft choices, and they made it because of their work ethic, their commitment. And I know Reggie and Raleigh are looking for players that love it. They can measure passion easily, and they're looking for players that have passion for this game. And if you don't have passion, you ain't going to be here playing for those two. I guarantee you.
So the penalty sends it back to 4th and 18. And Delbert Alvarado will punt it away. Raiders running a return man on. DeAndre Muhammad just getting back there. Bauman will let it go. And it's only going to be a 19-yard punt. And the Raiders will take over the 30. Well, we talked about one of those Cowboys who, you said, John, are future Ring of Honor guys, perhaps. Jason Witten talks to Lisa after this. There he is, the owner, the president, the general manager of the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones, involved in every decision with his organization, and he always puts high expectations. And that's why he said the window's closing for some of our veterans like Ware and Romo and Jason Witten, who's standing by now with Lisa.
Thank you, Mike. Jason, you took a really tough shot in that first quarter. I want to ask you how you're feeling. What happened on that play?
I felt good. It just knocked the wind out of me a little bit, but it's always good to get those big hits early in this first preseason game. Get you used to the season. Obviously, we got high expectations, but I'm feeling well.
You came into camp saying it cannot be the same old story. What did you mean by that?
Well, I just think for a core group of guys, expectations are high. And last year, 8-8, obviously a tough way to end the year last year, losing to the Giants. And so we're excited about the opportunity. We still got a lot of work to do, but I feel like we got a good football team.
Your owner said in May he thinks that the window is closing for this current roster. What do you think about that?
Well, we appreciate everything he does. He's an amazing owner and fortunate to play here for this organization. Expectation, the standard is high, and I think for a core group of us, we understand that those expectations are high, and we embrace that. And so we want to take advantage of the opportunity. It's been a great camp so far. Guys are working really hard, and we'll see where it goes.
You've been with Tony Romo for a lot of years. I know you guys are close. What growth have you seen from Tony year to year?
Well, he's an elite quarterback. I believe that. And ultimately, we know the expectations and the goal is to win Super Bowls for this organization. And that's been the expectation for a long time. But he's a key part of our offense and our team. He's a leader for us and playing really, really well last year. And I think we're going to pick up from where we left off. And obviously, we go as he does. And I think he's a phenomenal player and guy.
Thank you, Jason. Good luck this season.
All right, thanks.
Mike.
Good to have that guy to throw to. Led the team in receptions with 79 and yards at 942 again.
He's not just a tight end that catches passes, Mike. I see him do it all. He blocks for these backs. He pass protects for Romo. He can run any route in any formation.
3rd and 4, Terrell Pryor throws incomplete, as was low and at the feet of Carrier, but a flag down.
A lot of people running into each other. They could get an illegal pick here.
Holding. Defense number 13, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Yeah. But watch Terrell Pryor in the pocket. He's got protection. You're going to see a shallow cross coming from right to left. Just move forward, keep your feet underway, be strong in the pocket, don't aim it. He's got to be able to stand in there in those types of pocket situations and make those throws. You can't get jittery back there with your feet and be inaccurate in these intermediate crossing routes. There'll be no yardage after the catch. That's a big area he's got to improve on.
Penalty was on Lionel Smith, 41, who held 13. Brandon Carswell will play pass. Pryor moving in the open field and taking off. And ducks out at the 44, given 4.
It's what Terrell Pryor does. It looks helter-skelter at times. It looks chaotic. But the kid makes plays and finds a way to move the football team. Unblocked defender, nice open field elusiveness, and you see the natural ability to run with the football, but that's how Terrell Pryor plays. Doesn't always look like you draw it up, Mike.
Baraka Atkins, remember him, he was with Seattle for a couple of years. Bounced around to a few camps since then. Frisco, Denver, Pittsburgh. Rashawn Jackson, first-year running back out of Virginia, who was a training camp cut last year for the Raiders as we get to the depths of the 90-man roster. 10 minutes left in the 4th. Hey, I want to come back to Romo for a second. We were talking about Romo and Witten. Tony Romo gets talked about as the reason the Cowboys don't win games late. Jason Garrett said something interesting. There are plenty of other reasons, not just Romo mistakes, although those seem to stick out the most.
Well, he's the reason you beat the Redskins and the 49ers late, too, so don't forget that. I said it earlier, Mike, and you and I have talked about.
Ball start. Offense number 60, 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
We've talked about these windows closing. Tony Romo Witten, who we just talked to, and DeMarcus Ware are all-time great Cowboys. The numbers prove it. They're going into the Ring of Honor, I think. It's about these other young Cowboys playing to their potential. Can DeMarco Murray and Felix Jones stay healthy? Can Des Bryant and Miles Austin stay healthy? Can Morris Claiborne come in here and be a shutdown corner? If these young Cowboys step up and join these three great Cowboys, Dallas doesn't need any window to jump through. They'll come right through your garage, man, because it's talent. It's a talented team.
3rd and 7. Pryor's got time. Fans get excited when this starts happening. And Pryor gets the first down.
That's when I get excited, too. Let's watch this at real speed back home. You tackle Terrell Pryor. He's 6'5", 235 pounds. Hasn't played in over a year. He drops back the pass. Go get him. First down, Raiders, just like you draw it up.
Needed 7, got 9. Certainly a lot of fans fired up. And this communication here, play clock running down. Pryor going to take a timeout with 8:59 to go. Can't hear. That's when you get them on their feet cheering. You got to hear the next play come in. Well, John, we know these guys have made impacts in the National Football League. You saw it firsthand coaching the Bucs.
Yeah, this Michael Vick showed up, started running these option plays we never saw before, and the Falcons broke a franchise record. I used to tell these officials, I said, Michael Vick is not a quarterback. We need to hit him like a running back because he's keeping the ball on these option plays. And I see Cam Newton doing similar things in Carolina, and I know this kid, with a package of plays, can affect the game. Because I saw this kid in the Rose Bowl live. He looks like Julius Peppers playing quarterback.
We were both there for that Rose Bowl performance. That was stunning, the stuff he did in that game. And then the Sugar Bowl the next year. The 48. Lofting one. That is incomplete. The request for the flag by Torrey Humphrey is heard. Justin Chaplin Ross. Pass interference.
Pass interference on the defense, number 33. Spot foul, first down.
It's penalty 11 on the Cowboys tonight.
Yeah, that's no question a pass interference call. And right now the Oakland Raiders are in position to win this football game. Doesn't always have to be pretty. But Terrell Pryor right outside the red zone. This is where a young quarterback that hasn't had a lot of reps, you got to be careful with play selection because a lot of these plays he will not have practiced.
Good to see Rob Ryan in mid-season form. Up the middle with Rashawn Jackson. 3 yards. Ben Bass, rookie out of Texas A&M, went to high school at Plano West. Made the tackle.
I love watching these Ryan brothers. Rex in New York, Jet Green, Rob in Dallas Cowboy Blue. Critical situations of games. If you're not anticipating full blitz, you're probably making a mistake. Look for the Cowboys to heat up young Terrell Pryor here quick.
He's chewing gum. I don't think he's wearing a mouthpiece, Pryor.
Or pads.
You got time. Now to come underneath to Jackson, the running back. Caleb McSurdy tackles.
Just watch Terrell Pryor bouncing in the pocket. Bouncing in the pocket, trying to go through his progressions. You have to have a clock in your head. Watch Pryor take his setup. Watch him bounce. Surveying the field. Here comes his outlet receiver. Not a bad job.
You give him good grades for that, right?
I don't have any problem with it.
That's the challenge. He's got so much ability. We see when plays break down. Can he make the plays that are there? Can he be a pocket quarterback plus? Inside handoff, Jackson. He's denied by Ben Bass.
Ben Bass has made 3 plays in this fourth quarter. The rookie out of Texas A&M. Big football player. Ben Bass is going to come from the backside and chase this one back. Or he came on the play side. He scooted off the tackle's block. Doing a nice job.
Eddie Carmona on for a tying field goal with 7 minutes left. 36-yarder. The laces were facing him, and he missed it to the right. Tie game. We might have been here for a while. 3-0 Dallas. We'll switch coasts next week from the Bay Area to New England. Monday Night Countdown, 7 Eastern. At 8 Eastern, we'll see Tom Brady and the Patriots and Michael Vick and the Eagles on Monday Night Football. Look forward to Foxborough. Be a great weekend in Foxborough. Bruce Springsteen Saturday night, Gillette Stadium. And then the Pats and the Eagles on Monday night. How good will that be, John?
I didn't know you liked anything other than reading media guides.
Concert 27 with Springsteen. Can't wait Saturday night. Rudy Carpenter at Arizona State. The fourth quarterback is in the game for the Cowboys. And no gain as Chad Kilgore comes up and makes the tackle. So Rudy Carpenter back up in Tampa Bay as the number 3. Guy started 43 straight games at Arizona State. Has no regular season NFL experience. Only been a clipboard holder or listening to the plays go in.
Yeah, Jason Garrett told us he's in a battle with Stephen McGee. And these are how battles are decided in the games.
Ball comes out on the pressure by Dominique Hamilton, but recovered by the Cowboys.
Dominique Hamilton, another big pocket pushing presence here in Oakland. And Carpenter's lucky he didn't fumble that football. But a good rush. You see number 65, the rookie out of Memphis, Ronald Leary, getting beat on an outside move. And Hamilton did some good things at Missouri. You know the Raiders like his size.
Check that guy out, huh? 3rd and 14. Carpenter goes down again. And Iheanacho out of San Jose State forces the punt with 5 minutes to go.
And this defense under Dennis Allen, the linebackers have to be able to put their hand down and rush the passer. And Iheanacho is another guy that has that capability. There's 3 or 4 linebackers. Aaron Curry, who's on the PUP list, is another candidate. But Dennis Allen likes linebackers that can cover and rush.
Delbert Alvarado had a bad kick last time around. This one's very returnable. Tough to catch for Muhammad on the bounce. DeAndre Muhammad heart rate flying right now as he was able to get on it and hold on.
These referees need to come in there quicker and secure Raider ball there and not let these late scrums happen. That's when players get hurt. When there's a loose ball or the potential of one.
And I've seen that a couple of times. The replacement officials have done a decent job here in the second half tonight, but throughout this first week, decisiveness, and understandable. It's their first time ever doing this. Well, it's the most unique portion of any stadium
love these guys
in the NFL. The Browns had the dog pound back in the day at Old Municipal Stadium by the lake in Cleveland. But these folks, they don't know preseason, regular season, thirsting for a postseason chance. It's been a decade for them. Area, as you watch to your right there by the end zone, the black hole.
I used to get on there and give a few high fives there. Hey, look, I told my wife, don't bring my son Michael to the black hole. But she did anyways. My mom's there.
That's great.
I'll tell you what, those were some great memories.
It was fun watching you go back down there tonight to the 22-yard line. Gain of about 6 yards.
And now,
catch by
Terrell
Session.
Pryor, excuse me, Mike, Terrell Pryor's got to make some plays. That time he's a little bit low with the throw. He's going to have to make some plays with his arm right here. And I don't think Dennis Allen's going to play for the tie. He wants him to take this Oakland Raider offense down for a touchdown to win this game. He's going to have to do it with his arm.
Setting the screen, Rashawn Jackson across the 30 to 33-yard line. That'll be a Raider first down. It's another tackle for Ben Bass.
Yeah, Ben Bass and Ori Lemon, number 58. Good pursuit to the football. Ori Lemon's another interesting Cowboy linebacker, former Oklahoma State Cowboy. Played quarterback in high school. He's been on the practice squad. This kid was very productive as an Oklahoma State Cowboy. And there's a lot of competition for jobs at these backup linebacker spots in Dallas. Nice effort.
He's one of the top tacklers in the country, 12th in his senior year in Stillwater. Approaching 3 minutes left. Raiders still looking for their first points of the night. Thomas Mayo brought down. A good play by Lionel Smith out of A&M.
Boy, Manase Tonga, you saw number 19 out there. Thomas Mayo have got to get a block. If you're going to throw these bubble screens, that's fine with me, but somebody's got to get a block. If you're going to line Tonga, a fullback, out there as a receiver in that much space to block an athletic corner like Lionel Smith, you might want to rethink that one.
Credit to the Dallas defense. All levels of the Dallas defense tonight have done a good job with their tackling, save for 1 or 2 plays. That's a big point of emphasis. Pryor eludes the sack, keeps the play alive, and can't complete it downfield.
Just great athletic ability getting away from the rush, but what you want to see Pryor do is take it to the next step and make the play. That's what you're seeing happen with Cam Newton. That's what you're seeing happen with Aaron Rodgers. Great individual effort. Stiff arm a defensive end. Make another guy miss, but have the poise to make the throw.
You see the Pryor numbers. He has played after the first series the rest of this second half. Good pocket, good time, good throw. Complete for the first down to Brandon Carswell at the 44 as we hit the 2-minute warning.
Interesting spot. Nice job uncovering in the slot. Pryor had good protection, made the good accurate throw on 3rd and 15.
A reminder, when we're done, of course, it's SportsCenter. Steve Levy, Stuart Scott standing by. The latest on Chad Johnson. What's the next step? NFL Fantasy Series underway. Start to get your fantasy leagues ready in the battle in the Bronx. Yankees and the Rangers. Any fans of the Metroplex, Yankees and Rangers, their series underway on ESPN2 tonight, on ESPN on Wednesday night.
Nice lesson to be learned here by this Cowboy defense. They have the lead. And here we are late in the 4th quarter. Let's see if their defense can win them a football game.
4-man rush, Terrell Pryor. Incomplete blanket coverage that time by Akwasi Owusu-Ansah.
It's been the big talk in Cowboy camp. Be mentally tougher. Let's finish games stronger. 4th quarter's our quarter. It's your opportunity to show it.
Hey, I've heard you say that a whole bunch of times, and I know people talk about that. Can preseason things that happen carry over?
Absolutely. That's when the flame is lit. Winning is contagious.
Raiders have 2 timeouts remaining. The 44, Pryor on time to DeAndre Muhammad. Corralled 49-yard line. And keep it going here with 1:45 on the turning clock.
See Pryor run the 2-minute. We saw him do this in practice the other day, Mike.
Taking a lot of time.
3rd and 2. Pryor steps into the vacated area, can run for it, gets the first down, and gets out of bounds at the 36-yard line.
It's hard to coach that. See Baraka Atkins, number 59, on a clean rush off Pryor's right side. You're going to see it. Terrell puts the ball down, says, I'll get the first down myself. Just good football awareness of the situation. 3rd down, a long one. I'll get the first down, stop the clock.
That's interesting. They marked him back at the 40-yard line. I thought he was a few yards farther ahead than that. I didn't think he touched the sideline, went out of bounds.
Got to hurry. He's inside of 10 seconds. Way too long in the huddle here.
From the 40. Pryor got hit as he threw it, intended for Derek Carrier, and Adrian Hamilton again with pressure.
There's Adrian Hamilton out of Prairie View, the nation's leading sacker. He beats Wang inside. Bad. Punishes Terrell Pryor. Said it earlier. Hamilton broke Robert Mathis's sack record in the SWAC conference. Been a lot of players come out of that league, Mike.
I want to see Hamilton against a little bit better competition. Wang's the backup tackle here for now, but boy, he's done a good job affecting the game here late. 2nd and 10, Baraka Atkins is in. That time, Pryor not getting away. Big loss back to the 44. And the Raiders going to have to take a timeout with 1:03 to go.
That's bad football right there by Terrell's. A screen pass. The one thing you can't do is take a sack on a screen pass.
Raiders 1 timeout remaining. Happened to Pryor in that play.
Well, sometimes you call a screen pass and you want the defense to rush, but in this case, you're going to see a tackle in stunt. And watch number 79, Brent. He's going to grab the back on the screen. You have to throw the ball away. If they don't rush and they stunt and spy the screening back, you got to get rid of that football. 3rd and impossible here.
Yeah, loss of 16 with a minute left. Pryor with time, throwing late and low, ruled incomplete on the field as Eddie Whitley thought he had a pick and a touchdown.
Eddie Whitley's done that at Virginia Tech. He was one of Mel Kiper's sleepers. I was at the draft, and Kiper loves Eddie Whitley. That time, the young safety breaks on Pryor, and let's get a look at the replay. We can find one and see if he did scoop that or catch it.
That's right. We're in the last 2 minutes, so no challenges. Ed clearly did hit the ground. A very good call on the run by the officials on that Cowboys sideline with 100 guys over there telling him that it was a clean pick. A 4th down, and Rob Ryan's getting all of his defense back into safe territory. 3 guys are rushing, the other 8 are 20 yards away.
Protect the sticks, not the end zone. Protect the sticks.
Pryor trying to buy time, lofting it in the middle of the field, and that one is intercepted. And the game will end. That time, Silva able to pull it away. And the first-year player out of Hawaii mercifully ends this.
Raiders had numerous chances today. Missed 2 field goals, dropped passes, squandered great field position. Terrell Pryor is going to go back to work tomorrow. Look at that drive 7 or 8 different times and learn a valuable lesson. Defensive coaches will stunt to contain a scrambling quarterback, and they'll stunt to stymie a screen, and Rob Ryan has to be very pleased, Mike, with his defense. A shutout on the road, I don't care if you're playing tiddlywinks. That's a great job and a great start for this Cowboy defense from a confidence standpoint.
You walk away feeling good about it. Penalty here on the Cowboys as they broke the huddle with 12 men.
Remains first down.
They're trying to get that right player back there to be the safety behind the quarterback who's going to take a knee. So for Dennis Allen, you come in your first game, national TV, and you don't get any points, which means those are the questions you're going to get for the next week.
Yeah, it's tougher to go watch the tape with your players after a game like this, but hopefully the Raiders came out healthy, and it'll be a great
learning opportunity for this football team.
Raiders go to Arizona Friday, get the Lions out here the following week, close their preseason at Seattle. And then you'll see them on the second game of the Monday Night Football opener against San Diego, week 1. Dallas stays out here in California, back to their training facility and their camp in Oxnard. They'll play the Chargers on Saturday, practice for a few days against the Chargers before heading back to Texas to wrap up the preseason. Cowboys, of course, open against the Giants on Wednesday, September 5th. Dallas 3, Oakland nothing. Police Salters, John Gruden, our great crew, Mike Tirico. Good night from Oakland. Sports Center next.